something we can look into. So I definitely want to get more. So I'm gonna bring Tommy on real quick. Hello, Tommy. How you doing, sir? What's on? How you doing?
Hello, thank you for having me and inviting me on.
All right. No, well, you're more than
Excited.
welcome. So those who don't know Tommy, you want to introduce yourself so we know who you are?
And Tommy Kenyon, I'm everything. I got into digital video back in 2010. Went in the sports realm, and I'm figuring out my next thing to do, whether it's go full out on YouTube or go into the next career, whatever. Like I'm everything digital, audio, video, streaming. I got into streaming essentially first, and then video editing.
Okay, that's cool.
Back
Now, how I
when
met? Go ahead, Tommy. I'm sorry.
Back when Netflix was still doing mail-in DVDs, we were figuring out the live streaming manually, calling out the TriCasters and everything, and doing everything manual process.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. It's funny when all that started happening with Netflix, and I'm only saying that I was working with the post office at that time, and we didn't know what those discs were in those envelopes, so we're trying to fit them in those little mailboxes, and it was breaking discs all the time. We didn't even know what they were. No one knew what this was. Like who's like those are movies. Like they were just coming in regular envelopes, and you were just trying to fit them in a mail slot, and it was just breaking, and we didn't know what it was. So because you mentioned that, it's like, man, that was back with the same time you was getting the AOL disc, except they were putting those in hard cases. But Netflix was sending their
hmm
movies, and those CDs were just in a regular envelope, so it was getting smashed.
Very unprotected sleeve
Oh yeah,
cases.
100%. Go ahead, so
My question for Tommy Kenyon, and I've seen you on Creating Change a lot, and I actually saw you doing a presentation of some live stream stuff. So I could tell you're a genius in the areas that you work in. My question to you would be, looking at all of your fellow YouTubers and where we're all at with what we're all doing, do you feel that you have a certain skill set that you can offer something of value to us as creators where we're all at? Because I see you're a video editor. Do you feel like there's something you can offer to all of us that would help our channels to grow?
Two things that come to mind. I'm a live streamer first, video editor second, and I
Okay.
love everything about. I keep saying and I'm looking every time. I can't find a single darn thing about podcasting that I hate. That's about podcasting. Live stream. It's whatever you want to call it these days. TV show, whatever. It's a show podcast for. It's a show on the internet, and then video editing when people I hear often they're looking for shortcuts around editing. I'm here. As a video editor. I love video editing too. Final
Cool.
Cut, the top three industry standard software for editing.
Cool.
so now, so you were saying more like Tommy teaching us a class, or is
So
that what you were saying? Like if he had a class for us for content creators that wanted to actually come in and learn more about creating content and how to edit and things, Tommy could actually teach a class to us, maybe through StreamYard or whatever, and have more people on so we can learn. Is that what you were saying, or is it just I'm
whether it's teaching, I can teach you how to do it. I could do it for you.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing another thing too. Another thing that kept swept up even in my head. Online editing software I got into as well, learning whether it's at Twitter now X. They had a live cut editor we used. It was called, if you're anyone's familiar with Snappy TV, you take in a input and then you can cut from the live feed and then post directly from that instantaneously. And YouTube, all the studios, Facebook, YouTube, X, they all have the studio in the back end that you can actually cut live stream to and then cut after the fact from that stream and create and repurpose content as well. So
But
it's
at the
it's,
end
it's,
of
in,
at the
it's
end of this
including the
show,
online too.
I've just noticed in the past couple of days on my StreamYard, at the end of the show, I click leave and it pops up, hey, you want us to create AI clips of all your live stream here and content? It's so new to me. It's only been a couple days, but it's just the real. Like right now, it's happening. But I like also that you're a video editor. I know Dan's Dribble has been offering the video logo work and editing for Nemo 504 and a number of others. So the more the merrier. We all need these different people with skills like yourself to keep upgrading things and to bring our channel to the next level. So.
I've noticed some of that too in StreamYard. Whitney asking, and there's some drawbacks right now. It's all new right now, and it doesn't seem to work, at least from my experience, with if it's like just me on the screen talking about something. It works better if you're like this, like in an interview guest type of situation, and then it'll find those viral moments, if you will, with the interview. But it doesn't work too well for me, at least when it's just me by myself, or it's very limited in that way.
Now, what I've noticed with that, even some of the different programs when it comes up to the letting AI, create the shorts for you, like if you don't have your screen, like if you're in the landscape, it's like it's creating them like if you were in a portrait. Yeah, right. So it's like
that's another thing too.
It's forcing you to go a way that you normally wouldn't go.
Yep.
Like
exactly.
I like to be in landscape when I'm doing any video, but it's forcing me to go in a portrait mode, or I'm not going to be able to use the AI version afterwards. So I guess I'm seeing the heads nod, so you're all having the same or noticing the same problem. Yeah.
Getting a lot of good content. Like a lot of my content now just comes from my live streams. Like I'll produce a live stream, put it up there, and then in my free time, I'll go into my live stream and I will zoom in. I know where the good moments are, and I'll just take that little short, or I'll create a little bit of a long form, either one, and I will put it out there. I'll schedule it for the next morning, and then if I get ahead, I'll schedule another one for the afternoon, and then if I get ahead, I'll schedule another one for the day after that. Get ahead a couple days, and then if I get busy, I don't have no content in a day. So I'm finding like that's where I don't have to go film all this new content. I'm just finding these really, and people don't have time to watch all of our live streams for multiple hours. Every single one of us is doing multiple hour live streams. So they can't. So if you could just zoom in, I'll find a little spot where I'm playing a fun ukulele song, or where I had a guest and he brought puppets of Elmo and Nemo and Cookie Monster, and we're having a good time, and I just got that little clip, and I put that out there, and people can then just have time to watch that piece of content, and then I like this guy and I like his content. I'm gonna go check out more of it, and it's my experience.
All right. So I have another guest backstage that's going to come on. So that's Walter Jernigan. I'm getting ready to bring him on with us as we continue to talk on the Iron Sharpening Iron after show. And I don't want to miss out anyone that's in the chat. So we're going to bring Walter on the stage. We're going to recognize those who are in the chat, and then we'll keep on digging into this conversation. So we got Mr. Jernigan on the stage. How you doing, Walt? What's going on, sir?
Big Jack, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Everybody's here. Walter. Okay. All right, so right now, before we get any start, Walt, I got you guys creating changes down there, and he's saying that Tommy is a super duper producer. So that's how I met Tommy. He's the producer behind creating changes. Shoot, I forgot what is it. It's Vibe. It's Vibe. What is it? What is this channel? Yeah,
Iron Shine Show or Creating Change.
Yeah, the Iron Shine.
Creating Change.
Yeah. So that's he's the he's behind the scenes, and that's how I got to meet Tommy and seeing behind the scenes. So, but he's saying you're doing a great job. So keep doing your thing, Tommy, for sure. Celine said she had a question. Any good thing we should avoid in our videos? So, Tommy, that's the thing that came up. Anything should we avoid in our videos, in your expertise?
People tell me, especially when I was first starting, they'd tell me, don't lack energy. I mean, it's kind of the opposite of like avoiding it. Like, avoid bringing too much energy, if that makes sense. Like, bring the energy, find something, whatever you're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about this if it's straight out. Hook, bring the energy. Don't avoid if you could avoid the talking head. I don't like to do the talking as much as I do it as much, and I don't like to be that talking head. I like to be talking with guests like this.
Yeah.
Well, that's so much more to have a conversation.
Transition, showing all that what is it called? B footage or something, like all the different transitions,
B-roll.
B-roll, yeah.
Now,
Something
I
that
know,
changes a shot.
I know when I was talking to Walt, and Walt, if you could share when you're on something that you mentioned to me, and it was more about talking about the logo. So all of us have a brand, and you were telling me to go certain place to make sure that we got our brand registered, or what I'm saying. So someone would take your logo ID or whatever. So can you explain that to me, or explain it to us?
I mean, it's just basically simple trademark, stuff. USPTO.gov. I've owned a few in my life, and you can do it yourself. I haven't done it in a while, but it's all online now. And I just know that I was just telling him that, sharing with him with Big Jack, because you hate to get into it, get your audience, only to find out someone has trademarked your logo or your information or your name, whatever. For example, case in point, when the Washington football team, before they were the Commanders, they were the Washington football team. Before that, they were the Redskins. When the name change came up, everybody just started trademarking all of these names, hoping they could sell the name to the Commanders. So that was a conversation that I had with Big Jack. But let me say this. As a total novice in the YouTube world, other than pushing play, hey man, this show is like a master class for YouTube, like YouTube 101, YouTube for dummies, if you will. I'm learning a lot, because being a consumer of YouTube videos from time to time, you never see this part. You never see the back end, the backstory, what really goes into all of that. I mean, people push play, and then you also, your audience, Big Jack, what I don't see is a lot of clickbait. You guys keep it positive, and I know there's a whole nother world out there that doesn't, but I would imagine for somebody that's looking to get monetized right away, they kind of fall into that trap of negativity, and you guys are keeping it positive. So I have like thousands of questions for him daily, just about how did you start? I mean, how did you get into this? And we've had conversations about what he was thinking about doing, and now just one after another, man, he's bringing you guys on, and I got to tell you, man, I'm impressed. I'm down the rabbit hole, and I'm more confused than ever, but I am impressed with what you guys do and how you go about it, and everything you guys are doing online. At one point, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, you'd have to go into a studio to do it, right? And then you're doing it all from iPhone 16, or iPhone 15, whatever your situation is. So that's those are just some of the things that he and I shared. But the big thing was the trademark information, because like I said, everybody's not playing fair. Everyone's not your friend. So, jump on that, man. You guys can show use, which is a good thing already. So just get on there and take care of your business. And I'm not a professional at all. I'm just a guy who used to throw events and had a logo that I liked, and a name that was pretty catchy at the time. And that's how I got mine. Yeah, back in the day, so.
And the reason I mentioned that, well, even thank you for that, Walt, for sharing it, was because, so she had mentioned, like, getting different products and getting different, t-shirts or cups or different things. And you don't want to put anything out there and then find out, like I say, someone took it from you or whatever. So and I know from the business side of it, like you say, your business major from Kent University and all. So that's probably one of the things that they teach you in the business world as well, is to trademark your stuff, or if you have a brand that you're going to use, make sure that you put your seal on it before someone else does. And
Right.
So that's why I wanted to mention that, especially for anyone that's out here and is thinking about because this is real. This is not, when I first got in here in October, it was let's play around and see what happened. Let's throw it up against the wall. But then once the Big Jack story time, that's my logo. That's me. But then it's the Iron Sharpening Iron show. That's a brand. In the after show and we be jamming. And then I had to come to a point in my life and say, hey, this is where I want to stay right here. This is my little area. So now how do I protect my little bit? Because I do remember when the Commanders was going through the Washington football team and people was still, every time they come up with, because I live in that area. So every time someone came up with an idea, someone would trademark that name and try to sell it to the team. And it was like, so that's probably why they ended up with the Commanders. They had a whole lot of other stuff that they could have got, but they ended up having to go around. So I don't want to hog up the conversation. I'm just saying that's what, source that you was talking. So
that's a good subject though. Thank you so much, Walter, for bringing that through. And so, yeah, it's my challenge. One of my big challenges is, so having had a business for 8 years in transportation, before Uber and Lyft and all that, I had a shared ride transportation service around Kent State University and around the greater region there. And we ended up having like 7 vehicles, the big 15-passenger vans, the 12-passenger vans, the minivans, the cars, and 24/7 going around, and like 20 employees, all that sort of stuff. So did that for 8 years. That was a time. And there's a lot of stresses and all that. And now after having a spiritual awakening and going through a shift in my being and coming out of it on the other side, I don't really want to live in that world so much. But I'm challenged. Still want to do some of this like gradually, professionally. Protecting is very important. I live in a world of open source now, and where it's like if we all are creating and we're moving in the same direction, it's momentum and it builds and grows, where we're all sharing so much value with each other and we're all able to build more and more, and it moves a lot faster in the open source world. And I just want to play. So it's a challenge of my own, as I go forward, needing to do more of that, protecting and forming business entities again. And I do have some background in it all. And so, yeah, it's a challenge, and that's where I'm at with it all. So.
Okay. Understood. And for him, I guess we had the conversation once he came in with the t-shirt, because if you think about it, I mean, the word bootleg is there for a reason. I mean, so I was telling him, just jokingly, hey man, I'll take a screenshot and I'll go get about 200 or 300 of those t-shirts and I'll just sell them to your audience, messing with them, right? Which is basically a real thing. And then we just got on that subject. But here's the thing that got me. There was a time, and again, this is your lane. This is not my lane. But if you wanted to put something out, and Kent State is a prime example, you would have to give it to the cool guys on campus or the guys in campus that fit your profile that you're trying to reach. And then they'd have to wear it. And then, somebody would have to see them. And then they'd have to contact you, to get their product. Now you get online, you get on YouTube, and it's around the world instantaneously. And I'm just like, man, that's just, to me, at 61, that's incredible to me. I mean, it's great, but unfortunately, and this is not on the subject of, his logo. Bad news always travels quicker than fast news. The lie will make it around the world twice before the truth gets out of bed, right? Or something like that. So it's just like, I appreciate the way you guys police yourselves and the way you have these conversations. But man, there's like a whole, just being a YouTube guy, just getting videos like everyone else. There's a whole world, man. It's just out there basically living off of disinformation. And I mean, like, there's no guardrails, no policing, no anything. So shout out to you guys for keeping it positive. That's a great thing. And when you talked about training videos, and I tell Big Jack all the time, man, the conversations that he has and the diversity in his guests is just I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. So, hey man, kudos to you guys for that. As far as keeping it real, making videos and being a super producer, did you ever think that you would be that would be a niche? I mean, like that would be a real thing that you can make money opportunities off of that, like when you first started?
Not before 2010.
Okay, so you've been around for a while. 2010, man, that's a great. Okay, so you
I
guys
came in,
great.
I came in knowing very little about sports and web. That's all I knew in 2010.
Okay,
coming into it.
and you got to parlay that into a real business, I guess.
And then evolved each year, each day by day, improved 1% each day.
That's great. That's great, because when I asked Jack, I said, man, how do how do these guys make money off of YouTube? So just when you guys start talking about the monetization thing, trying to get your first 50 so you can do your live, trying to get 1,000. I think you just said you got 1,200.
1,200 subscribers, yeah.
Congrats on that.
But
so
700 hours in 7 months, but I'm getting 300 watch hours a month right now, so I'm on a pace now to hit. So,
wow,
yeah,
man. I mean, that's just like, again, to the person who, and let's not even talk videos, let's just talk whatever, who goes into the store and buys a product. Nobody cares nobody thinks about how it's made. They just know when they go on and get this product, they get it. So you guys, man, is clearly, like, back to Big Jack, what I said to him earlier, you can't do this for the money. I mean, there's no way. There's too much startup energy, cost, blood, sweat, tears, frustration to do this for the money. And Bill, Jack, what you said was, hey man, if you can do it for free, surely you can do it for money.
100%.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you kind of like get all of the pretenders out of the way, man, because this is not, this is just does not seem like an easy thing to do. Now, of course, it would be easier if you just got in there and put clickbait up and put a lot of lies up, and you guys don't, man. So I mean, you guys are to be commended for that. I know you don't get extra credit for doing the right thing for the right reason, but I just like to say, man, it's good stuff.
I would say on that, but the extra credit would be with that is that your channel will be it's on good foundation. So you're not worrying about it being cut, YouTube coming back and taking away your channel or demonetizing you or removing, because you got it the wrong way. Yeah, as I hear other people saying it. So if you do it the right way, when it finally do get to that point, you'll get to that point where it's now sustainable. It's going to make it. It's going to last because you've done everything you're supposed to do the right way. You know what I'm saying? And you won't have to worry about being exposed later. I'm not saying that it's that something wouldn't happen. Like we run into a lot. I do, especially with the new added to the channel, the We Be Jamming Live. So when that show was over, YouTube notified me right away saying that you had some copyright stuff in that show. Yeah, so
you use original music. I remember you saying,
but no, because one of the performers was using songs from other people, even though we was given credit, but they were singing it, but it was still, the music was from someone else. So because of that, it was being listed as copyright. Now, it wasn't a strike against me, but it was copyright. So they're letting you know right away that that your stuff is being copyrighted. That's a copyright material. That's something that someone else has already produced, and it's not a strike.
Right.
We're just letting you know that it is copyright material.
So when you see, like Facebook videos and somebody posts something and then they'll post, I do not own this music. Is that how you get around it? Is that a real thing, or does that even matter?
You can make a claim that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So so basically, okay, so let me ask you this. I've listened to a few podcasts and radio shows on most of these, like Celestial Radio or some of these podcasts, when they may play someone's music and then they may say you can't play it more than 30 seconds or something. Is that true? You guys know about that?
I believe the public domain is the first 20 seconds of it,
20
or
seconds.
20 seconds of it, and
Okay.
then any more than that can go into copyright.
Got to start. So then at that point, it's up to the person who owns the copyright to chase you down to get paid or tell you to cease and desist using their
It's
information.
about getting permission.
Wow.
So Moon over Miami is saying no. So Moon, if you know the actual numbers for that, if you can drop it in the chat, we'll appreciate it, because I think he's trying to answer that. I
It
think
could
they're
have
trying to answer the
changed.
question.
That's what I heard back then. It could have changed. Or
No, and it's not. No one's right or wrong. That's why we asked the question. And because see, this came up also. So I know right now the source is on here. So we're on the Iron Sharpening Iron after show. For those who don't know, we got the source. So he's our main guest here. We're in the after show part. We got Tommy here. We got Walt Jernigan here, and I'm Big Jack. And but the source is live right now on his own channel. Tommy is live on his own channel.
Okay.
I'm live on my own channel. I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on Twitch. I'm live on YouTube. But what YouTube can look at this and say, hey, this is the same content 3 times, 3 different people posting the exact same video. That's a wrong. So that's why it's important to interact with the people that's popping up in your chat, to continue to chat with them and interact with them, because it will show that we're not doing it. It's not the same video going out 3 times. It's 3 different videos going out at the same time, even though it's the same information. So, and that's where I know that the source is interacting. I see Tommy is interacting, because that's I don't say your way around it, but that is your way of getting around the fact that there's 3 videos going at the exact same time, showing the exact same information.
So with all due respect to all of you guys, I don't know how big your listening audience is or how big your viewing audience is, but Big Jack, someone from YouTube was actually paying attention, not in a bad way, but listening to your show last week, the We Be Jamming show, and picked up on that, or how do they monitor? How do they monitor all of that, guys? I mean, explain that to me. How does that work?
Any one of y'all could do that for.
I just think YouTube has the algorithm, the bots, the ability to just hear or see or whatnot the music, and it's a real song from a real producer that is public domain. So they have the technology to catch it, and every time you put up a content that has someone's song in there, it boom, copyright. And then I always have to go into it and see if I can clip out that piece of music or mute out that little part, or if it's not a big enough strike or nothing to worry about, it'll tell you, oh, it's just not going to play in Greece because they've got some rules. So, and I'm like, okay, I'll let it ride. Like, I've got a couple of those copyrights on mine, but I don't think any of them are strikes. So
yeah, I don't have any strikes, but I did a live one time bowling. So I was bowling. I did a live while I was in there bowling, and because the bowling alley was playing music, and my video was catching that music.
Okay.
And it was telling me that some of this you couldn't even use it because of the fact that it had the whole song in there. And it had nothing to do with my video,
Right.
but because it was capturing that music. So it gives you the options to be able to cut out some of it, cut out some of the videos, or make the video private. So it's not something that you just can't use it for monetization. You can't use that video to make money because it's somebody else's information or someone else's, so now I can use that video for my own personal use, but I can't make any money off of it. So once you're monetized and you get that, once you get to that point where, it's going to give you the options if you want to use it. And that's something I learned yesterday when I was with Echo. It gives you the options. Do you want to use it for monetization, or do you want to kick it out? So we're going to kick that video out and not use it at all. And it might be a good video where you might have, 300-400 hours of watch time on it or something that you can't use because you got one song or whatever. So now you got to make the choice. Do I cut the song out, or do I, just cut the whole video out?
So to your point, because you're not being monetized, is that why you got a warning instead of cut?
No, the thing was the songs, the people who own the songs allow YouTube to use the songs. So what they were telling me that was the email I got. It's a strike. It's not a negative strike, but the people allow it to be played on YouTube. So it's okay if you leave it in the video, but I'm just letting you know that at these points in your video were some copyright warnings, if you want to look at it that way.
Okay, so let's look at the other side of that. You're using a video that Tommy put together for the Source, and the Source has his music on there, some entertainment on there that he created, some content that he created. Like you mentioned earlier, a clip from "Have a Nice Day." No, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I'm imagining that's public domain because that's been around forever, since at least for me since kindergarten, right? So if there's something that violates that, like how Source, how do you determine what the value of that thing is? Like, how do you, if you want to get paid for that, if you wanted to press that, and he's making money off of it on his channel, and you wanted to come in, how does that work?
I don't really know. I don't know exactly. And then that song, by the way, I mean, I don't know if it's if there was an official author of it, and there's something with if it's 100 years or older, there's something where that's public domain. But I don't really know the question. I can't understand the question very well.
Let's say it's not that song. Let's say it's not that song.
Right.
It's a song that you created, and Big Jack is using it on his show. Right. And he's making money off of it. Keeping
probably
it real,
protect it, right?
Video, huh? So
you probably would want to protect. You probably would want to protect it. But then it's like you say, like there's also proof of, you know, I could show proof that I created it and then I released it at this day, and that you're utilizing it after. If you want to go into courts and all that sort of stuff, or arbitrations, or I don't know how that would all work, but you're right. Like everything we're doing at YouTube is pretty much like a free, open. Like there's a lot of, you can select like whether you're putting your content available to be remixed and used or not. There's different settings in YouTube. Okay. And then there's like Creative Commons, and there's different settings for what your videos and content. There's all sorts of stuff in there, but I don't know. I'm not the master of that subject. So
and I guess I was just wondering because like some artists will go in and they'll give their music away. I mean, that's their intent, to get exposure, right? So I was just saying, but you just answered my question partially when you said that you can go in and make it, you can set the settings to say how you want this to happen. But I'm just saying that once Big Jack goes in and does what he does, or the music is playing, you hear that music and say, hey, that's my song. Or back on to We Be Jamming. Okay, then what? You know, so like, what's the next part of that? I was just wondering, like, how does that even, like, like on one hand, I get it, and it's necessary because streaming is everything now. Today's time, nobody goes and buys albums, 45s in my day, and stuff. But you know, it's like at the same time, like how you want the artist to get paid, but how does that? I was just wondering how that plays out, and keeping it real, you produce videos for people. I mean, you're the producer. So how does, you know, like, what are some of your experiences with this issue?
Well, I think you got two out there. So you got to answer, or you just.
Oh, I was just gonna comment that like on YouTube, I do a lot of like I grab content from other people's videos all the time. I'm always going into creators, their live streams or their videos, and I'm sometimes there's a button on there where I can click remix and I can utilize their content because they're in their settings, they're allowing me to do that. Okay. And then I create a piece of content out of their video, like a little snippet of their video, and I'll put it out there, and I try to make sure it looks like it's not me taking their content and using it, but more like I'm supporting everybody in all our communities, and I'm building up all of us at the same time. And then sometimes I just do a screen share and I don't even look at the remix button. I just literally, I'm like, I just want to grab that, and I just do a screen share my screen while it's playing the video. You know, I don't really know. I mean, most of us are all, you know, friends on here amongst the community. So there's some level of we're all creating and moving as one. But sometimes I've actually had where I found a piece of content from somebody else's video and they're speaking a great truth, and I create a little video, I put a title on it and I put it out through the source, so it's coming through the source channel and it's their face, they're speaking, my title, everything, and I put it out there, and then later down the line maybe they don't want it to be out there because it looks like it's their content, and they just put in they click a button that says maybe it's not, it's not them, or they don't want it up there or whatever, and I'll get a message and it says this person took down this video, or had us take down this video. It's so that's happened once before, so I don't know, it's a wild west in a way, but also a lot of structure too, and guidelines and whatnot with YouTube, and 20 years in with this thing with YouTube. So
that's they're good points. And I'm seeing in the chat a lot of different things are popping up. So I know the Moon over Miami said that you can get trouble with that can get you in trouble with YouTube. So there's certain things that we might be doing that might not even be the right thing to do. It's just, you're a content creator. You're trying to create content. You're like back in the day, we used to make mixtapes. We out there making mixtapes, and we're taking all these different artists and putting them on a cassette because we wanted to hear it. And at the same time, it's like when you're using it, but now once you start trying to sell it, that's where the issue come in, because I'm doing it for one thing, but now, like I say, you're not getting paid for it. It's not as bad. But once you start getting paid for it, then they're a little bit more, if I'm not misunderstanding, they're a whole lot tighter on the contract you signed to be monetized. And once you go in and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, to the point that YouTube is against you driving and doing a video. So if you were driving your car and doing a video at the same time, you can lose, your monetization that way, because you're a safety risk. You're out there distracted driving, and YouTube trying to post a video. They're looking at it like, we don't want you to be associated with us, because if you got an accident or whatever, first thing they're gonna say is, I was doing a YouTube video. I'm trying to keep my hours up or whatever.
Let me ask you this: out of all, what are we talking? Billions of YouTube videos out there, millions of content creators. Percentage-wise, like the average person is out there clout chasing, right? They're out there not even trying to make money. They're just doing videos, trying to get clicks and likes, I guess. But what's the percentage you think of serious, like, people out there that's getting monetized for YouTube, and people out there just trying to basically, get likes? How do you guys see that? Like, is it here? Is it here? What do you guys see?
Well, yeah, I would say probably about 75%.
Okay. So let me ask you this: what stops me? I'm not, again, I'm learning stuff, but I'll go out, man, and you can go to these AI apps and I can create anything I want. You see these YouTubes of Denzel Washington or 50 Cent or somebody talking, and it's not them, and they're giving you this great advice, right? So now you guys are millions of viewers in. Let's just speed this thing up about 3 to 5 years. You guys have millions of viewers, and I go in and I start taking your stuff and putting it on my channel as if you're with me. Like, is there protection for the creator for that? Okay.
I think if you feel like you're being violated in some way, you would probably click on the content and you'd probably send a message to YouTube that says, spam, or they stole the content, or any of the different buttons that are there.
Okay.
And YouTube would then be legally, they're going to get in there. Okay, let me handle this because we can't allow this. So they don't really want us to put out other people's content left and right. My channel, in my description on my channel, it specifically says that I am my channel is a what's the word, like a support like channel, some sort of, like, I'm out to promote everybody. That's what I do. So there's a certain terminology I put on my YouTube channel description that says that that's what I am doing with my channel, is I'm promoting everybody else as the purpose of the channel. So
yeah, and that is true. And I see Moon over Miami is saying that YouTube has a new rule over AI. Like, if you're using AI, it's a button you have to click and say that this is an AI person, not a real person or whatever, so that you have to select that before you even post that video, letting them know that, because if they catch it, or they will catch it, but it's just one of those things where you're not trying to get over saying that this is Denzel talking, but no, this is an AI version of Denzel talking, and
Yeah.
they're asking you to make sure that you select that button saying you're using AI.
And
So
it's questionable sometimes. For me, it's questionable because like my twin bro Jamal Williams on here, shout out. Like I love his little shorts, his little short content, and he's singing, and I have fun. I go in there and I put like a Jamaican hat on his head, and I put in there my twin bro Jamal or whatever, and put that on the title, and I pop it out there, and he has a blast. Like he's so awesome. He's like, oh, my twin bro, I love when you take my content. Please keep doing this. I love this so much. But then when in the settings, when I have to choose whether it's AI or not, I'm like, is it AI or is it not? Like, am I misrepresenting the person? Maybe I am, you know. So sometimes I click it's AI, but most of the time I have it because it's just I'm promoting somebody else's channel, their content, their message, and I'm putting it out there in a good way. And that's what my channel's about. Is that's what I'm here to do. So, you know, I don't
what I
know.
see a lot of times is like some of the stuff I see is like not everyone, but a lot of people have the same thing. So you have an interview. One of you guys do an interview, and somebody else just takes that interview and then they start narrating the interview that you did, that you may be getting monetized for, and they basically just, if I don't know, if I had not seen that on someone else's channel, I'm thinking, oh wow, this guy has real good information. But basically, he's just taking the interview of it, like, and I guess TMZ is a bad example because they have their stuff on everything, their logos on everything. But I have a Big Jack interview up tonight. I clip it, start my own channel, and then all of a sudden, everybody thinks that I have you two guys on my team, so to speak, and that's just. It's just, and that's what I don't understand about it, man. I'm sorry for these questions. Maybe I'm not doing. Maybe you have an audience full of professional content creators, but to a guy like me, man, I'm just sitting there saying like, I don't get it. It's kind of like the moment you told someone, hey, I just quit my job, so I'm gonna become a content creator. You want to do what? You know what I mean? So, I just don't get it. I don't see how on one hand they're on top of everything, and on the other hand, like you said, it's the wild, wild west. So I'm learning, man. The more I know
We're all
about this stuff,
learning.
the more I realize I don't know a thing about it, man.
We're all
Yeah,
learning.
and then again, Moon over Miami, and Moon is definitely throwing a lot of good info out there and saying that yes, that would get you in trouble. So the thing is, and Source made a comment. There's a button also. So there's a lot of buttons when you're creating it. So that's the thing. Walt, you're saying you're not seeing the behind the scenes part of it. So when you're setting up a video, there's a lot of different settings we have to hit. To the point is it for kids? We have to hit that setting. Say it's not for kids. It's for 18 or older or whatever. So because if I said it for kids, we wouldn't have this chat. The chat would go away. People wouldn't be able to chat and things like that because we're saying that we have kids in here, so we don't want to. We'll take away that option for someone to put something that might be wrong for kids or whatever. It'll be gone. So it's a lot of rules that that YouTube or Google have set up. So just to go into that, but the other part of it is there's a button to say I'm allowing you or someone to mix this video, meaning take some of this clip and mix it in with theirs and come up with something else. And if you're okay with that, then you allow it to happen. If you're not, if you want this to just be yours, it's just yours. You can make it where it's just private, that only subscribers or whatever have access to the video. It's not open to the World Wide Web. It's only open to whoever I want to have it, So those are some of the things that you have to, take in consideration when you're producing the video and going live. But
producer, but I don't understand. I mean, like I can see something going on in the street, posted on YouTube, right? And it goes viral. And they're not answering these questions. Like, how does that happen? I guess explain that to me. Because you guys are playing fair, you're content creators. I get it. But the guy that's walking down the street and sees the crazy motorcycle accident, and I don't even want to put that in the universe since I'm a biker, but and puts this on YouTube or crazy cat video, right? Let's just say a cat doing something crazy and it goes viral. They're not going through the process that you guys are going through, right?
I mean, it's the same. If you got
Yeah. So okay. So all right. So you witnessed either the motorcycle accident or the cat, and it might not be your cat, and that person, you probably didn't get permission from the person in the video. So there's a potential that the person might come after you for not getting permission to put them in the video, but they're probably in a public domain. They're in a road. So that's probably okay. And then the cat, if they're not in a public domain, if they're on their property or something, and there's an owner of that cat per se, they might, if they can recognize it and prove it's their cat, they might be able to come after you for something, or whatnot. So, but yes, that YouTube creator who's uploading the motorcycle accident or the cat is putting in a title, a description. They're putting in a picture. They're putting in all those settings. They're having to do all those different settings. So there's some of that, and then YouTube has certain guidelines too that protect, in different ways too. So we all on YouTube, we all have to be good with the guidelines too. So there's a lot of this is built out, and your concerns are addressed in a big way. We're all new and learning. So
yeah, and it is. And Walt, just to throw this out there, and this is definitely good talking. I appreciate you even asking the question or asking the question. But a lot of news media are trying to buy that video, trying to get that video faster than we can post it. So if they saw you out there with your camera, you saw that accident, and they were able to get it from you, they would pay you top dollar for that video because they know you got raw footage of an accident or whatever's going on, and that it could go viral. And they're hoping that it's something that they can put on their channel and produce that news and put it out there, so because it's going to build their ratings. It's going to build. So you're holding really gold in your hand when you have a situation like that. So it's just one of those things. I had one video go viral before on TikTok. A person missing a putt. He missed a putt, rolled off the hill, kept going down the hill, and this and that. That thing had over a million and a half views of a person missing a putt. Now, I didn't make one penny off of that, other than a lot of people watched it. But at the same time, it's catching something like that it's not rare, because when you play golf, it happens a lot. But what made it funny was the music that wasn't my music. I know it was the oh no music that went with the video, and it just made it funny. And it was just the timing that at that time people was watching, I guess, and it had over a million plus views on TikTok. It's still sitting on TikTok, and I'm happy about that one video. But at the same time, I didn't make a penny off of it. Not one penny did I get anything from TikTok, anybody else for it. So, but we're on the Iron Sharpening Iron after show. I got the source, and I don't want to take all his time. I got Tommy down there. Thank you, Tommy, for being up here with me. Walt, you definitely asked a lot of good questions, and you put us in that thinking mind. And the reason I'm glad to have this surrounding or this platform is because you did ask those questions. A lot of people that's going to listen to this video later, a lot of people that was in the chat, Moon over Miami, Snapback Trishana, all of them was giving us good answers, but you're asking questions that other people are asking, to the point that Moon over Miami made the comment saying that you can actually Google some of these questions and get your answers if you have them. But the thing about it, if you Google it, most likely you're gonna see a YouTube video about what you was talking about. So, which is cool, because you might see one of us. This might pop up because you had that question. This because that's how the algorithm works. So because we're putting this out there, and YouTube is looking at it saying, hey, this person asked on Google about all of this stuff, and there's a video for that. Watch this live, and there you go. So once you put it in the descriptions and all that other stuff, that's how it all pops off. So, but I don't want to hold up time. I know we're at that 2 hour mark, and I appreciate you, Source, for being on the show. And Tommy, thank you for coming in the back panel with us. I'll be talking with you more. Walt, I'm gonna turn this over to the Source and see if he got something he want to say to the people, and then we're gonna end the show if that's good. Unless anybody got something that they really need to get up. Walt, you got something?
Just saying thank you for your patience, guys. I mean, and like I said, I guess you have rules, regulations, guidelines, and procedures, and then you got common practice. And that common practice is the common practice changes. The common practices change all the time. So sharing your experience is great because who knows, man, maybe one day I can figure something out for old guys who can't figure it out. And I appreciate your patience and thank you very much, man. It's been very helpful. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Walt.
you.
Thank you. Tommy, you got anything you want to share before we roll out?
I just say a couple things that came to mind as I was listening to all this. That always with AI, what YouTube, there's a thing like adding context to something makes it what I've been hearing, okay, from other content creators. If you're putting yourself into whatever it is, whether it's using AI, put yourself into it, make it yours using AI or not. You can let the platform know it's AI, of course, but put your heart into it. So you're giving a little piece of yourself with each video you make, with each. But I want to say, I wrote some things, 3 things. There's multiple ways to do one thing with editing, live streaming. One way may not be yours. Find your way. Another thing, play. I heard the source talk about play. Be curious, learn, and share it with others. And then the last, with that in mind, and here's something to avoid. Avoid that competition. There's billions of YouTube users out there. Don't see them as competition. See them as it's collaboration. We're all in this together.
Good stuff. That's good stuff. All right. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you for being on the panel, the Iron Sharpening Iron After Show. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, and you do what you do, and after you finish, we're gonna close this out. So everyone in the chat, I thank you for being here. I'm gonna turn this over to the source, and he's gonna close us out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much to Big Jack, Storytime, Bill, our brother. Thank you so much for having me on Iron Sharpening Iron Show. It's not competition unless we're competing like iron, sharpening iron. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, for being here with us. Appreciate all of y'all. As always, stay phenomenal. Keep posting, monetize your greatness, strive for excellence. Good evening. If you're an evening, good morning. If you're morning, that's a shout out to, you know who that is, to KC. Also, let's vibe. Shout out to our other sister there, VC. And it's hard out here for a temp when you're trying to get that money for the rent. Sharita Jones, shout out to you. Also, Fishy Things, if you're out there, if you're listening, I've just done one more guest appearance on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show than you have. So take that, my brother. Also, Mr. Fishy Thing, you could be king of the sea, but I will always be king of the land. I'm the moo cow. Just so you know, I got you on that one too, sir. Also, Uncle Mike, seriously, I'm still waiting on that bag of Cheetos, the now and laters, and the root beer. So your nephew over here is hungry and thirsty. So please, I'm still waiting here. And shout out to Hope Crew. Shout out to Champion Nation, Luciana Success Systems, Thrive Tribe, Thrive in 25, Shine Family, Boogie Time, all the families, all the collectives, all the tribes. Shout out to all of y'all. Also, Oso, the Ravisher. You're the awesome chief distributor of the juice. Don't forget that. Always remember that. Bringing us that good juice. Thank you so much, Oso, the Ravisher. And again, shout out to all the families, all of us, each and every single one of us. You're awesome. You're phenomenal. Mahalo, Ohana, which is family. Thank you, family. And aloha. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Ciao.